I am that person who tends to get offensive in every small matter. If you are that person who encounters an emotional outburst on a regular basis and you react to a particular object, situation or human being in a certain manner which is very emotional in nature and it causes hurt to the other person, do not go too harsh on yourself. Do not judge yourself for that matter. Do not give any other human being the authority to judge you or call you names, for it is the neural system for emotions within us that is linked to approaching, interacting with the world in a certain kind of way, with the emotions housed in the left hemisphere and the right hemisphere of our brains. And this is how we get offensive and defensive, because it is the defense mechanisms that the amygdala in our brain causes to trigger the stress hormones, and it sends the signal to the pituitary glands, and the pituitary gland furthers those signals to rest parts and the cells of our body. Cortisol in our brain is that which is responsible for the defense mechanism, because it prepares our emotions, and that alertness within us, it causes to make us alert and go defensive for any threatening situation. Whenever you feel you are in some sort of threatening situation, brain reads the potential threats and the mind reacts to it accordingly. The defense mechanism that gets prepared somewhere within, that comes out as the emotional outburst. For example, if you are a claustrophobic and you are approaching a certain kind of building or office which you know has lift, and you have problems and issues with lift because certain somewhere in the subconscious knows that you don't want to get inside of that lift, you will make different avoidance reasons and you will give certain kind of reasonings in order to avoid going to that building. Your conscious mind will not let you know that you are avoiding to go to a certain building or a certain place because of that lift, and your subconscious knows it, so it's planning a defense mechanism, and your conscious mind will give you different kind of reasoning that today you don't feel like, or the weather is bad, or anything and everything, any situation or reason, you will make it into a reason, and it will be the avoidance syndrome that will work within you, which will prevent you from going to that building, but the reason will be that lift. This is how the defense mechanism within us work, and the conscious mind tells us something because we don't want to get hold of our fears, and we don't want to admit to our fears, and we don't want to see ourselves weak. And in order to not know and realize the weakness or the tendency of avoiding the weakness and feeling yourself and telling yourself that you are a very strong person and putting up a brave and strong face, we have to live and fight the battles of the day-to-day life that we encounter. So this is what our conscious mind does, and we train it in a way that it doesn't let us get into the actual depth of the matter and gives us 1000 different reasonings, and our mind gets cluttered and we keep on thinking that why did we react in a particular way to a particular object, situation or a human being. The lift was just an example, and the building can be a particular person you're trying to avoid. And in order to avoid that person, maybe there is some sort of issue that you have with that person that has nothing to do with that person but your own old memories that we keep reliving, or any of our own shortcomings. And what we end up doing is we develop a sense of hate towards that person and react to that person in a particular way. Let's not go too harsh on ourselves. Do not allow anybody, any human being to call you names or to judge you, and for that matter do not call yourself any names or say I get very defensive, I get too offensive, and I'm very short tempered and this and that. No, it is the neural emotions systems within us which is designed in such a way. Now for this gives us the license. Can we do and cause hurt to others? Does it give us a free hand to exercise our free will and get away with this neural system within us which is designed and say that okay, it is designed within me, so do not call me names, do not judge me, so I am going to continue keep hurting you and reacting in a particular way. No. Do not exploit anything that has been gifted to us. This is a design. Cortisol has a very important part and a vital role in controlling our sugar levels also. So anything that is designed for us which responds to a particular situation, It is not the solution. The solution doesn't lie in disturbing the peace of anybody else's mind, and for that matter disturbing the peace of your own mind and disturbing the peace of family, of a society, of a workplace, because whenever we react to something in a way which is not quite peaceful, that causes the sense of distress not only within the environment but within the environment that is within us, and it is not good for your spiritual health, because till we are spiritually fit, till a brain is spiritually fit, however you are scientifically, you're having a fit and a perfect brain. If you're spiritually not fit, you won't be able to react to the worldly affairs with intelligence and with that peace and that level of dignity and that level of authority that you have on your mind. If you become slave to your mind, the mind will have a control on you. But if you try and authoritize and you command authority over your mind, then it will help us to win the battle in our day-to-day lives. And in order to do that, we have to keep working on ourselves. Now, what are those emotions? Whenever we feel offensive or get defensive about something, we have to quickly analyze that what is within us that is working. The amygdala, what it is doing, it is triggering the stress hormone and it is passing on the signals, and it is sending the signal to the pituitary gland that see, there is some kind of situation and you have to be stressful. Cortisol is now receiving that stress hormone, and now the stress signal, what it is doing, it is multiplying and preparing your defense mechanism to react to any threatening situation. See, these are the things which is designed by that creator, by that power who has designed it within us for us to fight the battles of the world, and it is linked with the immunity. It is the immunity within us which fights with different kind of viruses. So these emotions are also certain kind of viruses that it is fighting within, and the defense mechanism is for our benefit. And that defense mechanism is not to exploit it, take advantage of it. It is not to make somebody else's life hell or distress, or for that matter harm your own self by causing stress, because this is a defense mechanism to react to a particular situation that will act as our protection. So it is to protect us. So we have to work on it such that it comes out when, as and when required, and not use it anywhere and everywhere just because you want to vent out your anger or vent out a certain emotion, or you have got hold of a person who cannot shout back at you, or for some reason he cannot fight with you. So you're exploiting that person and venting out your anger on that person. Because see, our mind is very cunning. Those emotions, those emotion level, the defense mechanism in us will make you, cause you react to a particular person in a particular way. But our mind is very cunning and very smart. So see how this set of emotions work and how cunning and sharp and intelligent our mind is. Suppose I've come across this person who holds a very high position and who is a power or man or woman of position. Now I cannot get away with that person by reacting to that person in a bad way. So I will control my behavior, and however that cortisol pushes and prepares my defense mechanism to react in a particular way, or it causes the anger emotions within us, I will have a very polite and a controlled approach, because I know that if I misbehave with the person, then I can get into deep trouble. Now, for that matter, if I've come across somebody who's very close to me, suppose my best friend who's going to tolerate anything and everything I say or do, I'm going to vent out myself and then say that okay, it is the neuro-emotional system within me that is designed and that is responsible, and I am not responsible. No, when I said that don't go harsh on yourself, it is for us to work and not judge, and know the reason why we are behaving in a particular way and why we are saying something that we are saying. So it is not to exploit. This is for our protection, and we have to make the best benefit of it and use it to enable and strengthen our minds and to react in the particular way that is called for. Because in a stressful situation, when you are in certain kind of problem, it is the defense mechanism, it is the alertness of the mind which prevents you from many dangers, and which acts as a protection that is given to us by that Almighty. It has designed our body in such a way that is going to fight for you. This is the same immunity that fights the viruses whenever you have any kind of disease. It is that immunity that battles the disease. So if we begin to exploit that immunity, if we begin to put us and subject ourselves to cold weather, and suppose you know that it is raining and you're subjecting yourself to taking continuous shower in some cold water, and you are standing in the rain for the whole night. It is some kind of challenge that we are making to our immunity. This is what we do when we exploit the neuro emotions that are designed within us and housed in the left and right hemisphere of our brains. We have to understand how it is working. Fear is in the right side, and the emotions that are dealing with positive and negative both in form of happiness, excitement, anger, pride. These are the emotions that are housed in the left side. And fear, disgust, and anything that can cause a very strong threaten, anything that can threaten you or you can see as potential threat, that the mind sees as potential threat to you, then the right side of your brain will become active and cause it more stress. Now, how to overcome and work on it? So science is telling us how it is happening. It is not the design that has been designed by the science. Science is just telling us how it is working, and we have to make the best use of it and not completely depend on science, because at the end of the day, this design within us has been gifted to us by the creator who has designed this immunity, who has designed the body and how the system is working. It is designed by that creator, and we have to consciously connect with the creator. 8 weeks of mindfulness practice. The research conducted on people who did 8 weeks of mindfulness, and the researchers found that the size of the amygdala within the brain reduced. There was this gray and red matter, and that gray matter tend to reduce, and there was a significant reduction in the size in the amygdala. They found that it is shrinking. Why? Because there was a mindfulness practice, and when you meditate, then the left hand of the side and the right hand of the side, which are releasing certain kind of hormones, the shrinking of the amygdala was directly connected with the mindfulness and the meditative practice that those people applied. So when you practice meditation, when you consciously choose to connect with the creator and you consciously choose to cut off with that world, then the stress hormones somewhere get affected and they react. They don't know how to react because this is something they are not prepared for. So this is now sending a signal. The amygdala is now not able to release the stress signals to the pituitary glands, and the cortisol is not getting active because it is not getting the need of it. It is not feeling the need of it. So it is now at peace. You are making peace with your own self when you are meditating. You are cutting off with that material world. But it is not that you are abandoning something or turning to a spiritual monk or something like that. No, the spiritual science is for us to make best use of science and empower and strengthen our interior so that we can battle and respond to the exterior and make the best out of the material world. Now, what meditation practice to choose? Now, we have discussed on it many a times that what are the kinds of meditation, but you have to keep something in mind when you're choosing any meditative practice. The intention behind doing it is not some kind of miracle. The intention is successfully getting hold and the command authority in your mind and not becoming slave to your minds. Now, how we have to do a training of the mind? We have to empower the mind and strategical cutoff with the material world, because when you are meditating, see, as we said, the emotions that are housed in the left and right hemisphere of our body, it is the neurosystem linked with engaging, interacting and approaching the worldly affairs. Now you are cutting off with those worldly affairs, so the stress hormones are not getting the food. You are not giving mind that food that it needs to react in a certain kind of way. So when your mind will become that strengthened and it will cultivate itself and inculcate the power within you to fight to exterior, then whenever you come across any situation, human being or object that are capable of causing stress within you, your mind will not react in certain way and the amygdala will not be able to send those stress signals, and for then your cortisol will not be able to receive it and the defense mechanism within you will not get active and you will not get offensive in anything and everything, and we will get a better hold of ourselves. We can attain this successfully if we make an intent of certain time period and a time duration and fix it and apply certain meditative practices. Then it is bound to give result and we will see the change on how we are reacting to the exterior. Bread, 41 days of life-changing experience, life-changing course, no dependency, what the slavery, bread.